Hi everyone, my name is Sarah and this is my first knitting podcast. I guess I should introduce myself. This is slightly awkward, but I started knitting in July of this year. I am currently in my last semester of college at Virginia Tech. I'm in my apartment here, but sorry if the window, like my window's open, so sorry if it's a little noisy. There's a lot of bugs. But yeah, I'm just gonna go through what I've made so far in the last 2-ish months. Not even, because I started knitting like the end of July. So yeah, and then I'm also gonna go through one thing that I'm working on right now, and then also some plans I have for Christmas because I have a lot of requests. Sorry, I'm also allergies, so I'm gonna go in chronological order. So I started knitting and then I was like, basically I'm just gonna immediately start with the sweater because I'm a learn by doing person. So but yeah, this is the first thing I made. It is a classic top-down raglan. It's a very basic sweater. There's no short rows or anything, so technically it's reversible. Like a crew neck, 1-stitch raglan, and then twisted rib. But yeah, this is made out of Knitting for Olive merino in the color oatmeal, and I think I used 5.5 skeins of that, I think, because I had extra to make something else that I'll show you. Also, I should be looking there, but I can't because whatever. So yeah, this was very much a fun time. I really enjoy this. It's very soft. I haven't actually been able to wear it because it's so hot, but it was 45 this morning, so I'm hoping that it'll get colder during the day soon. But yeah, whenever I was knitting this up, it looked really tiny. I was like really scared that it wasn't gonna block out right, and the sleeves are really short too. But it all worked out, thank God. There is one part, I'm trying to think. My tension was so off with this, like the whole thing. Oh yeah, you can see it right there. Like right here, these stitches, like I don't know what I was doing, but they were so loose as I was knitting it up, so they're kind of like really bad. But I don't care. Not worth it for me to fix it. But yeah, that was, oh, I forgot to name the pattern. It is the Essential Sweater by Darling J'adore. I literally just looked up like basic sweater and this is what came up and I bought it. So yeah, I'm sure it's on Ravelry, but actually it is on Ravelry, but I didn't buy it there because I didn't know what that was whenever I started knitting. And so the second thing I made with my extra from that sweater is, this is like, I'm such an ambitious person apparently, but it's a little creased, but this is my cami number 7 by My Favorite Things Knitwear. This is literally the second thing that I made. I was like, let me just make a cami with my leftover yarn. I mean, it worked out really well. I still have a whole, like almost a whole skein left of that yarn. But if you can't tell, the colors are completely different, just because, so I had 2 different dye lots, but I didn't notice until after I finished the sweater because I had only used like 1 dye lot for my sweater without realizing it, because I also didn't know what that was. So when I started making this one, I realized that one of the skeins was like a completely different color, which I've heard that's like been an issue with Knitting for Olive. So yeah, like one of the skeins that I had was like way lighter than the other. So I started knitting this up, and then like part of like, I think you can still see it a little here, but like this part was way lighter, and then the whole like bottom third was just like so much lighter than the rest of it. So I was like, I'm just gonna over dye it. So I got some dark brown Rit dye and just dyed it like a dark brown color. I think it looks pretty cool. The bust shaping I really liked. It's not even shaping, it's just like decreases and increases. But that was pretty complicated. I had to use a provisional cast on, which I'd never done before, on the back. So you like start with the back the back triangles, and then you work up the sleeve or the straps, and then you go to the front, and then you join it in the round. But yeah, this was a fun time. I knit this on 2.5 millimeter needles. I think it called for 3, and I was using wood, so I was like, let me just go down in size. Also, I tried starting it with the 3 millimeter, and I was like, that looks way too gapey of a gauge. So I've only worn this like a couple times just because it's 100% merino, and it's been like really hot, and I sweat a lot. But yeah, I also like made it not super short, but like it's more of like a natural waist length versus like an actual like hip length cami. But I loved it, and it's so fun. But yeah, I also forgot to mention that this sweater, the pattern calls for a 4 millimeter. But I think I ordered, I was trying to avoid buying needles online for some reason, so I went into Joann's, and the only one they had was a 4.5. So I just got the 4.5, and I figured I made a size down, I think. I don't know, but it ended up working out. But the gauge is probably gapier than it should be. And then my third finished object. This is honestly like so comical that I was like, oh yeah, let me just like go right in. But I just finished this last week. This thing took me 2.5 weeks. You can't even like I don't know. This is made out of Isager Jensen yarn in the color 6S. I think it's like an undyed color because it's like cream, but there's also like flecks of light. So yeah, this is like, it literally has some like warm tone and some like cool tones, little fibers in it. So I think it's undyed, but I'm not too sure. This is a worsted weight yarn. It worked up really nicely. I really enjoyed it. I used 9 50-gram skeins. No, I used 8 and like a little bit, but I bought 9 because that's what it called for. It called for 9 exactly, but I know why. Flynn. I know why I didn't use last skein, and it's because, so this is my first time reading charts, and obviously because the only other 2 things I did were like super basic patterns. But so you work up the back with German short rows, which is the first time I did German short rows, and I felt very proud of myself. But you work up this back moss stitch panel, and then you work down to the bottom of the ribbing, and then you pick up for the front shoulders, and then you go down to the ribbing again, and then you work in the round. But I guess I didn't understand what was going on and I didn't realize this until I almost finished the first sleeve. So right here, there's like a really thick moss section, and then I looked here and I was like, why do these not match up? But then I looked back at the chart, and I was supposed to repeat the rows for like 6 times, I think. So yeah, that was like a big mess up, but I don't care because it still looks pretty cool. But the patterns don't exactly match up on the sleeves like whenever I'm wearing it, which is fine, I guess. But yeah, so the body's shorter than it's supposed to be just because of that. But like if I'm holding up like this, like you can't tell because they match up, kind of. But this pattern was a lot. Like I learned a lot from doing this. So I did German short rows, I learned how to read charts, I did eyelets, the whole like construction where you do the back first and then the front. That was a whole thing. And the mock cables were pretty cool too on the sleeves and the body. I've heard a lot of people that have made this, like, what is her name? A Lovely Yarn podcaster. It's so funny, she reminds me of my mom. I love watching her. But she was talking about it when she was doing her sweater, and like the sleeve decreases are so annoying, especially in the mock cabling. This one I messed up a lot because I didn't even start the mock cabling with the right amount of stitches. I had too many, so I kind of just like, you know, I'm kind of like a wing it, and so fake it till you make it kind of person. So I mean, you can't tell. It's like it's gonna be like inside of my arm anyway, so it's not that big of a deal for me. But my other sleeve looks a lot better. Let me see if I can find it. Yeah, like this one looks so much better. Like you can't even tell. But whatever. This was very fun to do. Also, this is the bottom. I totally like the beginning of doing this. So it calls for a Italian tubular bind off for the body and the sleeves and the neck. And I did not know what that was when I first like started working on it. And like you can see, let me show you better. Like it looks so bad. I think I was doing it like the opposite of what I should do, but it like I got it. But I shouldn't have done this, but I did twisted rib for the body ribbing, and then like I didn't realize that the tubular bind off was gonna look like normal ribbing, so it kind of looks whack. But whatever. I did normal ribbing, and my sleeves look so much better than the body. But this is normal 1x1 ribbing with the tubular bind off, and it looks so much better. I think the only other thing I did differently was the neck. I made it a little bit shorter with the 1x1 rib, just because I wanted more I didn't want it to like actually touch my chin area. So I think it comes like here. But yeah, I really love this sweater. I cannot wait to start wearing it when it gets colder. This is also about this yarn. It's like scratchy, but it's not itchy. Like there's the range of like soft to scratchy, and then there's like itchy to not itchy. It's like not itchy, but it's scratchy. I guess it's rustic. I don't know. I think it's so funny that people say that. But like I feel like I could wear this next to skin without having any issues, but I probably won't do that just because it has the eyelets. Yeah, I feel like the eyelets kind of prevent me from wearing it without anything underneath it, just because it's like so breezy. But I love it. It's so fun. I love it so much, and it's so squishy. Ugh. This was an expensive sweater. I think total my yarn was probably like $85 for the 950 gram skeins. I don't know. I bought it directly off of the Isager website, so I don't know how much shipping was. But it came in like 3 weeks. It wasn't too bad. But it was so weird when I got the yarn. So I think I ordered 3 at first, and then I ordered the other 6 later because I like didn't know what I was doing. And when I first ordered the first 3 and it came, there was only 2 skeins, but one of them weighed more than the other, so I was like really confused. Just because like I did not know what was going on. But then I opened the heavier one, and it was 2 50-gram skeins in one together. So I actually did get 3, but one of them like had 2 in it. And the same thing happened whenever I bought the 6. It was just like 3 hanks with 2 in each, so it worked out. But yeah, this is my Ingrid sweater by Petite Knit. And then my 2 other, well, technically I have 3, but the other one's still wet, so I'm not going to show you. So I made this. This is a hat for my sister for her birthday. I got this yarn off of Etsy. It was a D-stash. It's some sort of superwash sock yarn. It's DK weight for sure. But the speckles are like, it's not focusing. Whatever. The speckles are like brown and like maroon, and there's like some hot pink you can see right there. But I loved working with this yarn, and like the speckles are super, I mean, I guess towards the bottom they're more like, they're heavier, but like you can't really tell. I used the whole 100-gram hank for this just because of the the ball on top was a lot of yarn. But I just wanted to use it all because I didn't want any scraps. So this was the 2x2 ribbed hat by Pearl Soho. I've heard some complaints that the stitch counts are really weird, and I would say that this is like a really big hat. Like, it's not very, like, it has negative ease, but it, I don't know, it feels loose on the head even though it's negative ease. I don't know. I think that also has to do with the superwash aspect. But yeah, it's so pretty. I love it. I can't wait to give it to my sister. And then I've been grinding out hats like no other. This is a hat for my dad. This is called the Baker's Hat by KNITS. It's a free pattern on Ravelry. This is for my dad for his birthday because him and my sister have close birthdays. They're like 8 days apart. And this is just for some like acrylic yarn I had in my stash. I forget, I think it's called like Impeccable something. I got it from Michael's. I don't know, it's like a chestnut brown color. But this is a pretty cool pattern because if you unfold the brim, you do a purl ridge, so it has like a folding line, and then you do a little bit more of the ripping, so it's double folded, or it's a double brim, I guess. But and then you just do raglan decrease shaping. But this, I literally knit this in a day. Like, it was super quick. I liked how it was stockinette, and I feel like it fits really well, even though it's a little big for me just because it's for my dad, but I feel like it's a pretty good fitting hat. I made another one of those. I'll just go grab it. It's still wet, but this is another Baker's hat. But this is some superwash sock yarn I got from my local yarn store here at school. This one I had been working on for a while, but I had just done the ribbing, and I was gonna do just like a 1x1 rib hat, so I had a lot of it done, so I didn't do the purl ridge, but it's basically the same other than that. But this one is a super cool yarn. It's just purple and blue and orange, and like there's like navy specks in it too. It's pretty cool, but it's still a little damp, so. But yeah, that's all for my stuff I've already knit, I think. Yeah, I think that's it. I had to grab another one of my whips. So I only have 2 whips right now because I finished all those hats. I literally finished all of those hats in the past week. So I've been grinding them out. Also, the essential sweater finished in 9 days, which is insane. Ingrid sweater I finished in a week and a, or not week, 2.5 weeks. I think the tank top I finished in like a week. I've also figured out that I'm more of a monogamous knitter. Like, I'll have stuff going on at the same time, but I really enjoy like getting things done. So that Ingrid sweater, that's the only thing I worked on, except for when I didn't have the sleeve needles. I started working on my mom's Christmas present, which is a great segue, so I'll just show you that now. So this is the first half. It's like more than the first half. I have 4 sections done of the Jenny sweater by Petite Knit. It's a smock stitch. It looks like DNA, but I thought it was quite funny. Smock stitch, bottom up raglan. The yarn I'm using for this, just unwrap it a little bit. This is, oh my gosh, what's going on? This is, excuse me, Flynn. This is what's left of my second skein of Knit Picks palette. I think it's in the shade cream. It's whatever their non-heathered cream color is. But this is a 2-ply fingering weight yarn. It's pretty cheap. It's like $4 a skein, I think. And this is what's left of my Knitting for Olive soft silk mohair in the color Wheat. And then like you can see that they're pretty different tone, like shades, and then they make this, which I really like. I already had this because I originally bought this to marl with the copper, I think it's copper, colored soft-silk mohair from Knitting for Olive as well, for the Novice cardigan by Petite Knit, but then I swatched it and I realized I didn't really like it, so I think they're just two different colors, and they look better in other, sorry, my sister keeps texting me, they look better in other circumstances. I do know I'm going to definitely actually, not definitely, I'm gonna play Yarn Chicken and see how far I get. I think I'm going to be able to work the body and then maybe like this much of the sleeves, maybe like one full sleeve before I'm gonna have to buy more yarn, which is honestly fine with me because Knit Picks palette is like super cheap, and then my yarn store back at home has this for $7.50, which is super nice. Like everywhere else I've looked, they sell Knitting for Olive for like $10, and I'm like, ooh. But like the merino I bought from there, it was only $7. So love that. But yeah, I'm a little bit more than halfway done with not the body, but like before I get to the armpits, and I have to split for the front and the back. But yeah, it's a labor of love. The smock stitch, whenever you have to wrap the yarn, it takes a while, and the stitches get a little tight in between like whenever you're wrapping it, which is fine. It just takes a while. But I've been going to like one of my friend's house and just bringing it and like grinding it out while I'm there while we watch TV. So that's fun. But yeah, it's a fun time. I love giving people things. Like it's definitely one of my what's it called? Love languages is just giving people, like gift giving, not even receiving. Actually, I do like receiving gifts, but just like when you like make something, it's just like on a whole different level. But yeah. And then my other whip is a Sophie scarf by Petite Knit as well. It's very Petite Knit heavy, but whatever, I don't mind. This is what I have so far. This is Knitting for Olive heavy merino in the color rusty orange, maybe, not really sure. But yeah, my knitting store from home also carries this, so I ordered it off their website. And this is for the Tomato Soup Core cowl. It's High Fiber Knits knitting page, and I forget the last person that does it is a sewer, like a sewist. And I never, like, I don't know who, I don't watch that person, so I'm not familiar with their username. But basically, the whole point of the knit along is that you're supposed to do something in like an orange, burnt orange, like a red color. So that's what this is for. Oh, that's my cat's little foot. But that's what this is for. I'm enjoying this. It's pretty difficult keeping up with the rows for the increases, but I just do I do one repeat of the pattern every time I knit on it, so it's not too bad. I bought 3 balls of this. Hopefully it's enough. I'm just gonna keep going. Probably gonna do until like half of I bought 3, so I'm gonna do 1.5 and start decreasing. So yeah, it's pretty fun. Knitting this on 5mm wood needles. These are just like some random like cheap needles I got off from Amazon. Like I got a pack of like 15 with like, they're all like this length, and same with the needles, like they're all the same length, which is kind of annoying because it's a weird circumference. But that's what I knit my tank top onto. It was this pack of needles, but it was the 2.5. But yeah, I think that's all I have to say about this. The cowl doesn't even start until the 23rd, but I was just so excited. I was like, I need something to do other than the the smocking. So, but yeah, I think those are all of my whips currently. I'm going to start talking about my plans for what I'm going to do for the rest of the year, probably. Just because I have a lot of people that want me to make them things, which I don't mind. I don't, like, if people ask me to make them things, like, I literally don't care because, well, as of right now, because I enjoy doing it so much that, and I love giving them things, so it doesn't really bother me. But I have to do, I'll just start talking about it. So this is some yarn. I have, it's right there. I have 10 of these. They're in hanks right now. This is Knit Picks Wool of the Andes Bulky, for a zipper sweater man for my older brother. I am very excited to start doing this. I just got the needles today. I'm not sure if I'm going to start working on this as I'm working on my mom's, but I think I just, like, need some variation. I might just, like, cast it on and work on the neck and then work back on my mom's. But I swatched this and it was perfect. It's supposed to be knit on 5mm needles. It's a top-down raglan with a zipper in the front. It's a quarter zip. And I'm very interested to see how it's going to knit up, to see if it's going to be slightly confusing because of the whole neck situation. But the thing is, I ordered some needles, like, for pickup from my local yarn store here, and I accidentally ordered the wrong size. So I ordered a size, they only do it in, like, the US sizes, which I honestly, like, I hate the fact that we have, like, the US has different sizes. Like, why don't we just call them the millimeters that they are? Anyway, so I ordered a size 7. I got mohair everywhere. I ordered a size 7 thinking that that was 5mm, but it's not. Yeah, so now I have 2, and they're metal, and I swatched on wood. So I think I'm just gonna have to do, like, intentionally loose gauge, or I'm going to have to go up a size, which I don't want to do because I don't have to buy more yarn. But yeah, so not sure what I'm gonna do there. I haven't decided yet. I think I'm just going to figure that out later. But also the cast on it's called, like, Judy's Magical Cast On or something, and you're supposed to have 2 4mm circular needles. I really, like, well, actually, I don't know if it's just, like, a pair of circulars. I'm gonna have to, I really don't know. I'm gonna have to do some more digging, because I don't have 2 pairs of 4mm circulars, and I don't want to buy another pair, so I'm gonna figure something out, because I really don't want to do that. Anyway, yeah, I don't know. Anyway, so that's my first plan, and then also I'm going to, what's the next one? Oh, my younger brother asked me to make him a Notre Dame, that's where he goes to school. He asked me to make him a Notre Dame sweater, so I'm going to make him a striped, so not a full striped, but more like a rugby stripe-ish. So it's going to be, I'm gonna use the Dad Sweater by True Lane Knits. Chelsea, love her podcast too. No, LOL. The Dad Sweater is by Emily Curtis, which is Gently Chaotic Knits, which I love her podcast too, but she's not making podcasts right now because she's traveling everywhere, which I think is so fun. But I bought that pattern yesterday. I'm gonna do the broad shoulder one, which is like the man version, and so I bought the yarn yesterday too off of Etsy, and it's going to be mostly navy, and then I'm gonna do a thick green stripe here, and then I'm gonna do, like, leave a little bit of blue, and then I'm gonna do a gold stripe here, and then do the same on the bottom. And then I think for the ribbing and the collar, I'm gonna do like 3/4 navy and then do like a stripe of gold and then like a couple stripes of the green. I'm gonna do the same thing for like the sleeve cuffs, the neck, and the ribbing for the body. Not sure, I don't think I'm gonna do any sleeve like stripes on the sleeves because I'm not sure how I would match them up like together on the body. So I think I'm just gonna leave the sleeves plain until the cuffs. But yeah, I am very excited to do that. Never done stripes, so, and it's like self-imposed stripes, so that's gonna be a little interesting thing to figure out. But I'm very excited to start that. I love the look of that sweater and I want to make one for myself, so I'm glad I bought that pattern, and I'm glad that the broad version, the broad shoulder version, is in the same, like, you buy them all at once, because I really wish Petite Knit did that, but she knows that she can make the money either way. But I wish that they all came together. But it's fine. And then I think those are my 3 Christmas knits, and then I'm just gonna make some like hats and like maybe a Sophie scarf for other people too. I'm also thinking about making some socks. I'll go grab the yarn. Technically I started doing it. Technically this is a whip. So this is the Isager sock yarn. Let me see what color it is. If it says. It's color 33. This is like a burnt orange color. But I want to make, I don't remember what the pattern is called, but it was a free pattern. And it was like really basic color work. So since I only have one skein of this, I think I'm gonna make some like this much for the ankle, and then use this for the color work. So this is Universal Yarn Curio. This was, I literally went into my yarn shop, I was like, what is the cheapest sock yarn that you can recommend me? I was looking for like a cream, but there was no cream, so I got a light pink. This is called Alabaster, I think. Where is it? Yeah, Alabaster. So this is 75 superwash and 25% nylon. So I'm going to see, I haven't actually decided, because this is only 50 grams, so I'm trying to squeeze a pair of socks out of this, which I don't, if I do like the little ankle ones, maybe I can do it, but that's like it's a very big if. So yeah, this together, but I also have this is the same sock yarn. This is the color 56. I originally bought this before I knew what yarn meant, like the specs of yarn. So I thought I was going to be able to make a pair of socks out of this and a pair of socks out of this and give it to my mom and my sister. But that is not going to happen because I don't have enough yarn. And I don't want to buy more, so I'm just going to figure out that. This is also 40% alpaca, 40% merino, and 20% nylon. So very excited for these. It's very like, there's a lot of fibers like just hanging around, but yeah, I love the look of this. But yeah, I think that is all that I have to talk about currently. If you liked the video, you can like it, subscribe if you want. I'm just doing this for fun. I don't have I don't have any knitting friends actually. I'm like actually trying to teach my sister how to do it so I can actually have someone to talk about it with. But yeah, that's like really all I have to say. Leave a comment down below of something that you want me to talk about, or maybe like what you're currently working on or your favorite yarn or something. I don't know. But yeah, that's it. Bye guys.